Okay, so this is the Own It natural design case study hot seat for, I think this one's for November, even though it's December, because we had a bit of a delay with something coming up to reschedule. So yeah, we've got Maria here, and actually I probably, oh yeah, I'll just say what her natural design is, so you can jot it down. So for anyone watching, basically my intention for the hot seats is to serve whoever's on the hot seat and also everyone in the community. So it's not like there's 1,500 numbers. There's only 9 numbers plus a couple master numbers, or 10 numbers plus a few master numbers. So as I'm sharing things with Maria, and I'm talking about 3, for example, if I'm saying something and it's reminding you of something, then take that on for yourself as well. So it's my intention that it will serve everyone. And also I'm shifting things. So our next one as well, we're gonna do it just on an open Zoom. So yeah, so it's me and the person on the hot seat, and then everyone else can be here live with us. And I'll be checking in to see how things land, and I'm gonna try and make it as applicable as possible to everyone. So yeah, and sometimes it helps if you have very different natural designs. Sometimes it helps to see that, because then you're like, oh, I'm not like that. It's permission to not be like that. So yeah, so with that, let's dive in. So Maria, you were sharing how you're in a job at a hospital now, and ideally you would move away from that. And I was just sharing how Own It's an amazing place to explore. I created the natural design system for identifying gifts after analyzing thousands of people for a long time, like 20 years. I created the system, but that was like 3 years ago that I distilled it down into what it is. And so it's been 3 years at this point in time of exploring my own and exploring everyone else's in Own It and in other programs. And it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Like, I find every time I look at my natural design, I get a new insight. So it's definitely a tool for continuing to get deeper clarity from wherever you are, to getting deeper clarity. And for those who are in a job like Maria, I really wish I had natural design when I was back in my job. Even though it was not the ideal job, I could have looked for ways to bring more of me into my day. So for example, my biggest gift is 7. Some of my best times working I worked at this power plant and I worked 4 10-hour shifts, so Monday to Thursday. And the time that I was doing the best was when I woke up at 5:30 instead of 6, and I did a meditation, and I started my day in that nice spiritual energy before I then went to the plant, because that was it's so weird even saying went to the plant. Anyway, it's like so odd that I worked there. But anyway, yeah, so bringing in those little pieces here and there, you feel some sense of empowerment, like you're not just wasting away. And some people like their jobs more than I like mine, but still, whatever it is, you get to contribute your gifts even right where you are. So I love it. I'm glad that you're here, Maria. And thank you for being on the hot seat. Okay, so I'll share Maria's gifts. So we've got 5, 9, 4, 9, 11/2, 3, and 8. And then brand essence. So we'll set an intention in a moment. We're gonna go kind of wherever is needed, but I'm just gonna lay this all out at first, because we might not look at the brand essence, or we might not look at the gifts as much, but I'll just feel into that. So for brand essence, Sun is in Taurus, rising Libra. Yeah, I love your brand essence. It's so fascinating to me. We'll talk about that. We have to talk about that. So rising Libra, Moon in Aquarius, Mercury Gemini, Mars in Gemini, and midheaven of Cancer. So yeah, so before we dive in, do you have a specific intention for how this time can serve and support you?
I just want to be really open to whatever you have to say. And I feel like in the last couple of years, especially, I've been doing a lot of quote unquote work on myself, and just a lot of self-inquiry and reflection, and learning about what my limiting beliefs are, where they came from. And so now I really feel like I'm at the point where I want to move forward and next step.
Cool. I love it. So yeah, so I'll just be totally open to whatever wants to be shared. And this is the first time I'm looking at all of your natural design here with you. So yeah, so this is a good opportunity to go into kind of like the big picture of it all. And like really get to know what kind of person has all this natural design, like, and what different possibilities there are, I guess. So yeah, I want to start with the brand essence because it's really interesting. I'm laughing, but it's everyone has unique, like we all have these unique and interesting combinations of things, like, and you have these really very different energies going on in one person. So it's cool to,
I feel that.
yeah, I'm not surprised. Like if you had a different sun sign, like if you had like Leo or Sagittarius, then you wouldn't have this big interesting dynamic. But you got sun sign of Taurus, which is the most solid of all the signs. It's like solid, dependable, reliable, um, feet on the ground. I mean, this is working at a hospital, right? Like you're gonna show up, they can depend on you. Your people you're working with can depend on you. Like you need a solid person doing that kind of thing. And then we have this earth, and then the midheaven in Cancer, that's more like your public self. And I keep talking about this midheaven for everyone here watching. It keeps going, my awareness of it and understanding of it keeps going deeper and deeper. One of the things I'm starting to see and play with, and I encourage you and everyone else to play with this, is your midheaven is sort of like what you're known for. Or if you think about like who you want to be known as in your industry or in your work, who do you want to be known as? So that's midheaven. It's our public self. It's like, oh, that's the person you go to for this. So your midheaven, yeah, it's significant, and at the same time, it might not come out every single day. But Cancer is the mother sign, and it's caring and nurturing, and you're helping people with all these different challenges that needs real like mothering kind of energy. Like you can do it, and I believe in you, and hey, let's keep going and keep at it so that you can heal and get better. So and that's water. So we've got water and we've got earth. Those are opposites, they're complementary. Kind of like if you have a forest and you water it, then it's really nice. You have more trees and stuff like that, and more birds, and so it's a really nice kind of combination. And it's over here, right? And then over here, which is the rest of you, we have all this air. And it's just like so much air. Every air sign you have. And you have double Gemini, which is like, yeah, it's just so fascinating and so different. So air is intellectual. Air is, I mean, it's the air. It's just, it moves, right? It's just here. It takes up the space that it's in. It's about communication, which you have some of that in your work. It's about communication. It's about ideas. It's about intellectual, like thoughts or learning. Yeah, like even Aquarius sees the future, like, hey, we should be doing things differently. Here's a new way to look at it. So,
I'm that person who's always saying there's got to be a better way to do this.
right, exactly.
I get so frustrated with, a product or an appliance that is not designed well, or there's a
Yeah.
system that's not working well.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is such a good combo of your Taurus with your air, because the Taurus is like, it likes things that it's physical, right? It's so you're like, this piece of thing, there's a better way. So you've got your air, the ideas, mixed with the practical hands-on tangible, which is really interesting. Like that's
Even the name of the cookbook that I created is called Think Outside the Blender.
yeah, right. Oh my God, that is so your brand essence. Right? Oh my God, yeah. Here's the equipment, the very Taurian piece of equipment, and then think outside. I love it. So good. Oh, so fun. Yeah, I had to giggle when I first saw your brand essence. I'm just like, oh wow, this is interesting. And it's got some interesting challenges because the Taurus is very like, it's very practical and grounded, and it wants to do something. It wants tangible. It likes success. It likes things that feel good and are reliable and solid. And when it creates success, it wants to create success that's solid. It's not just like, oh, I did this fun thing and then it was over. Like it can really create tangible, sustainable success that becomes wealth in its highest expression. So not that every person with Taurus creates wealth, but the potential is there. And everything we're talking about in Own It, I mean, it's called Own It. Like own your uniqueness, own who you're here to be, stop feeling like you don't have permission to be that and really go for it. And whatever form that is, to whatever degree you're stepping into it, know that there's that potential there. So that's Taurus. It's very physical, very, it's good and business oriented because it's reliable, it's dependable. And then we have all this air, which is like a bunch of creative type energy, thinking outside the box. Like, talk about thinking outside the box. Aquarius is like, there's got to be a better way, like that serves, that is makes more sense, that helps humanity, that makes things easier, that whatever, because it's thinking in future terms. Where Gemini is just like, Gemini pretty much represents infinite possibilities. There's no limit. It's mutable air, so it's air that's changeable. So there's no limit. It's the most permission giving sign as well. So even you're giving them permission to go, what is it? Go outside. What was the blender?
I'll think outside the blender.
Right. Totally. So you're like, that's like permission giving. It's like, wait, there's a stuck thinking, and then there's a new way outside of it. So that's the Gemini. It's so much possibility. And they often know a lot of things about a lot of things. Does that make sense for you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, very resourceful. And it doesn't mean you're the expert at everything, but for sure, if someone's like, hey, I'm having a challenge with this, it's like, oh, go talk to, so-and-so, because they wrote a book on this, or here's this article, here's.
And I love doing that. I love being able to connect two people who I think would benefit from knowing each other. I get such a kick out of that.
Yeah, totally. It's a very social sign as well. So that's that connector energy, being a resource and connector and social. Like, that's all combined, which is really cool. And then the Cancer aspect of you is like this care. It brings a caring quality, to it, which is really cool. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, so it's cool. You have everything but fire, and yet what air does best, or one of the things that air does best, is it feeds fire. Right? So if you think about just elements in nature, sure, air is everywhere. But for fire needs air to live. If there's no oxygen, there is no fire. So that's just an interesting thing to kind of play with and think about, is that, maybe like you naturally will feed fire. So, I mean, think about it. If someone's fire's dynamic, it's like bold, it's being in motion and action, and here's you who has all these ideas and likes to talk. Well, the fire's like, whoa, like, yay, like it feeds the fire. So yeah, that's just an interesting thing. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly, and then look back to the gifts, because brand essence is awesome and it's really powerful to know and to go into. And at the same time, our gifts are like the everyday. They have the most. I find I have the most ideas come from the gifts, as far as like what to do day to day and things like that. So we've got 5, 9, 4, 9, 11/2, 3, and 8. So what do we notice here? We've got 2 9s. Like, that's typically the first thing I notice, is if there's multiples, and we've got 2 9s, and then everything else isn't there's only one of them, which is interesting, because in your brand essence you kind of have this like air and then earth and water, which earth and water are different. So you're covering almost all the bases except fire. However, there's just so much air, so it's more intense. Where in your numbers you have 2 9s, and then the rest are all different. So let's talk about this, like this unique combination. So we've got, so we've got the first 3 are like the qualities and the presence. So if I think of someone who's got 9, 5, and 4, well, first of all, 9 and 5 are very transformational, right? And 4 is very physical. So the work that you're doing, you're really helping to transform them physically, the people you work with, which is really cool. Like, they probably feel like, hey, I can do this, because because the 9 is end of the old ways, 5 is transformation, going from one state to another, like really creating change. And 4 is like the steps. 4 is the work. 4 is what you do to get there. And 4 is the body, among other things, right? In each gift, it's like a world. So there's tons in each of these worlds. But like if we take a look at what you're doing right now, it's pretty aligned with those first 3 gifts. Where I can see where it's going to start falling flat. It's coming. So yeah, so we've got those first 3. That makes sense, right? And do you feel like you bring that to what you do?
Oh, absolutely. And for the most part, I get to work with people one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very informal. I'm not the person who goes in and we're going to do this and this and this. No, I sit down, I talk with them, and I get to know
Yeah.
them and, connect that way.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's cool because 5 is, I find 5 to be really present in the moment. It's like what's happening now, or like it's just here. And it is also the jack of all trades number, so it can be really I guess relatable, which 5 isn't typically a relatable energy, but it can draw from many things. So that's really cool. Cool, I love it. And 9 is compassionate as well. So these people need a ton of compassion because they've gone through some serious trauma or accident. So yeah, so that makes sense as well. So like those qualities lend themselves really well to what you're doing, which is nice to see. It's nice, like, to see that even in a career that you're not totally, excited about, that, oh, it makes sense that I'm here doing these things, being this person. So let's look at the rest. And again, looking at the rest, we can see, okay, there might not be satisfaction in that line of work forever, or at least in the way it's set up. The biggest thing is when we take a look at the next 2 numbers, which are around your career and what you're here to do, like the work you actually do, versus just your presence, which obviously lends itself well to what you're doing now. So you've got a 9 and an 11. So these 2 together are really powerful. So we've got 2 9s, one of them being in your career. So when I look at the combination of 9 and 11 for career, 11 is like shining a light. It's like shining a really bright light on stuff. And 9 is endings. So really like shining a light on things so you can help people create endings. And it might not be like a physical ending, like ending a relationship or something. It might be ending this way of doing things, ending this whole way they've been approaching their life or relationships or their health. They've been doing it one way and it's not working because you're here to show them other possibilities. You've got the Gemini. It can be different. Here's a resource. Here's an idea. And the Aquarius is like really calling people to a new way. Really to a new way. So when you have this 9 and 11 together, and I encourage everyone to start thinking in these terms, of really looking at not just the individual gifts, but what happens when they start merging together. And it's easiest to look at the first 3, the second, then the next 2, and then the final 2 as separate. All of them together is also cool, but seeing them as separate, we really start to get a feel here. So 9 and 11, it's like completion and illumination, shining a light and inspiring, and also it's humanitarian. So especially the 11, it has a potential to have a worldwide audience, to have a global impact. And I've got an 11 as a bonus gift, and I've been working with clients from all over the world since like 2004 or something. I think I probably had, 2004, 2005, probably 2005. That's a long time. And it's not like I have like a million clients from all over the world, but right from the beginning, there was people that I was working with from all over. And I've had so many clients from different countries. So you have that as one of your main. So it doesn't mean that you have to have that, but it's just showing that the potential is there. So this could be where you might be feeling like, I feel like there's maybe more I'm here to be doing than just one-on-one in this specific role.
For sure. Yeah.
So, and especially with all these Gemini type energy, Gemini's communication. So if you have communication, then you have this like inspiration, this 11 that's inspiring. Well, it would make sense that you'd want to be out there talking, be sharing some type of message, be communicating some type of message that's very likely forward thinking. Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I can see it's really cool to see, hey, what you're doing now has got a lot of good stuff in it that matches you. It's not, I mean, for sure it's usually a match to some degree. However, we can see this bigger call, this bigger pull, with the 11 being there. And then, yeah, the final two, these are the lessons and the learnings, but also then they become qualities. Your 3, and which is very compatible with Gemini, because Gemini also likes lightness and playfulness. It's not very serious. Like, it's really just not. Like, it's like, it's factual, so I guess it can be serious in that way, but it's not heavy. It's not. Oh my god. So nine can handle the heaviness. 9 can handle the dark. And oh, I just see someone else just joined us. Hello, Robin. Glad to see you here. I don't know why I can't see you. Oh yeah, there we go. Yay, hello, Robin. I often see your ceiling or something. It's nice to see your face. Cool. Yeah, so I was just sharing that I'm sharing, I'm going to change the format, so I'm sharing the person's natural design. We're going into it, and just listen for any clues or insights that you might have as well that might be applicable to you. You have an 11, right, Robin? Do you?
No, I have a 22.
Okay, right. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
No, I'm sorry. I have a 33. 22
33.
is my year, but
Right,
33
gotcha.
is one of my gifts.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm like, I knew there was some kind of master number there. Right, it's a 33. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So yeah, so just listen for anything that resonates here. Okay, so yeah, so Maria, you've got, so the 3 and the 8. So the 8, yeah, so the 3 is really compatible with Gemini. As I was just sharing, the 3 is playful, is expressive, like Gemini. It's not heavy. Gemini doesn't like heaviness at all. It's like, it doesn't like to be weighed down. It's like the air that just expands on forever. But then you've got 2 9s, which are like dark and deep, and like, they don't have to be dark. But often when you're ending something, it's calling on that destructive type energy, right? Which isn't just like light and happy faces. And it can be compassionate, but it's compassionate around suffering, right? So 9 is this humanitarian, compassionate energy. Well, what needs compassion? Suffering. So you've got these 2 worlds. So what you're doing is, in one person, you have this depth and this illumination and inspiration, and again, this depth mixed with lightness. And you need to bring it all to accomplish your purpose wherever you are. You need to bring it all, because otherwise it's not, you're not using your full capacity. So for example, like these people that you work with now in your job, they've gone through some really difficult experience. So do you bring lightness to when you're there as much as you can?
Yeah, as much as I can, when it's appropriate, I guess I should say,
Yeah, for sure. If they're like crying and they just gone through this trauma like 5 minutes ago, no.
But
But
I have this weird ability, and it's happened often enough. I know it's not just like a chance thing. Like sometimes I'll go to see a patient, and the nurse will say, "Oh, they're real upset," or the family's real upset about something, and I go in, and by the time I leave the room, everything's like, if not great, everything's at least calmed down, and people
yeah,
are satisfied, and
yeah,
kind of like this weird. I don't know what it is. Just my energy, I guess.
it's really cool. Well, you have, like, if you look at your brand essence specifically, Taurus is just solid and it's practical. My sister's a Taurus, so if ever I want to be just like given a dose of reality that's like secure, it might not necessarily feel good, but it's secure. I'll talk to my sister, and she'll be like, boom, this is how it is. Here's the practicality, A, B, C. I'm like, okay, so that you've got that there that can it can create calm. And then you've got the Gemini, which has some lightness to it. And then you have the Cancer, which is nurturing, which is like, look, I see how hard this is. So that all together is super cool. Yeah, I've never seen this combo before. I like seeing it and hearing about how you're using it. And thinking outside of a job, it's like you want to make sure that all of these get expressed. You can't just have your Taurus take over and just be all practical.
Mm.
Gemini will get bored. And your Aquarius is like, oh my God, I'm bored. Yeah, I'm bored already. It hasn't even started. Aquarius is like, yeah, My partner Michaela, she's an Aquarian, and it's hilarious. She gets bored so easily. Can't wait in a line, stuff like that. Yeah, Robin, you've got Aquarius too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my birth date, January 28th, I'm an Aquarius in my
Right.
birth date.
Sun,
That's
yeah.
my primary sign.
Yeah, totally. And that's Aquarius is, it's typically really quick. So we've got Gemini, which is resourceful and all that, but Aquarians are typically really smart and quick. And I think because they are so quick, they can get bored easily. So it's good to, yeah, and Gemini is not up for boredom, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to go read an article, or I'm going to go do something. I got to go, have some.
It's funny because I'm the kind of person that I need my downtime. Like, I like being busy and doing stuff, but when there are times where I just need to like stare out the window or, just chill.
Yeah, for sure. Totally. It makes a lot of sense. And you have, with your gifts, going back to the gifts, you've got the double 9. That's intense energy. And it feels a lot. I mean, so does the Cancer. So it feels a lot, and it's compassion. That whole compassion fatigue thing is the risk for you. You probably need to be away from people to just be in your own energy and to like let go of all of that.
Yeah.
And get back some of the lightness and just, be in your body again and be grounded, because that's the Taurus energy as well. Yeah, cool. So another aspect that would probably has higher expressions is the 8. So the 8 is many things, of course. Each gift is a world. So there's success, there's abundance, there's empowerment, there's power, there's things like boundaries, and like there's a real world there. And when you think of Gemini, which is communication with 8, that's like communication, and being in your power and communication and in relationship kind of thing. Like, there's different possibilities there. So the 8 represents abundance. Doesn't mean it's just a piece of cake. If you have an 8, it's not necessarily. Some people it is, but typically in the people I attract, it's not, because we're very heart-based. But there is a potential there to create a lot of success, in that you're probably also feeling called to. Now, I feel like I want to do, maybe I'll do this in the new year. There's all these stats on being a business owner, and some of them are insanely like low and sad and ridiculous, and a lot of them. But so it's not like it's a piece of cake, because you could create just as much success in a job, if you're smart about it, because there's more risks being an entrepreneur. However, the potential is higher. And if you really step up to that, if you really draw on your Taurus, you really step into the 8 and like claim that I'm here to create success, not apologize for it, and really go for it. Well, that's a big part of you, that is likely not feeling as expressed as possible, and whatever abundance means for you. So with 8 being abundance or success financially, abundance is like for the things that matter. So for me, it's living where I want to live. It's doing what I want to do and being my own boss. I like being my own boss. So it's like what abundance means to you, like having the time for the things you want, or the flexibility to do the things you want, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So yeah, interesting combinations for sure. So you don't 1, 6, 7. The only numbers you don't have are 1, 6, and 7. But 8 is a lot like 1. It's different, but you've got 2 1s in your 11. Not quite the same, but you have to master. So here's a really big part of what you're here to be doing in order to really step into the power of your gifts. And Robin knows this. We've talked about it. If you have a master number, you can't access the full master number until you've mastered each component. So you can't access the 11 until you've mastered the 1 and the 2. So 1 is personal power. It's like saying no when you mean no. It's following your own passion, following your own drive, following your own knowing and instinct, and not being pushed around by others, or not having others tell you what to do and you just pleasing them and going along. one is really being in your power. So that's a challenge to master. And the second is the two. So this is being sensitive without drowning in other people's stuff. It's being sensitive and aware of people's emotions without taking care of them and losing yourself, and without going in the back seat of the car and letting the other person drive just to keep the peace. So it's really honoring your sensitivity without being overly sensitive. I mean, it's a challenge for sure. Two is the hardest challenge. I've got it in like all my challenge numbers. It's hard. But the more masterful you become with that and the one, then you access this 11 and it's magical. People think, is 11 just like two ones? No, like it's not just two ones. It's like, I don't know, it's like a chemical reaction almost. Like you put these two things together and you get something else, right? It becomes something different. And I know this because I've got a 1 in my gifts, and I also have an 11 in my bonus gifts. And it's so clear to me in the last, like, probably since I started speaking, I would say, a couple years in after I started speaking, I could really feel when the 11 was active. It's like it has a life of its own. It's this power and this energy it's even beyond me in a way. And for Robin, who's got 33, it's even more so. It's just like, it's so beyond you. I never thought of it like that till this moment, but those master numbers, they become something greater than what you're used to, what you've experienced of yourself. And it's one as well. I remember this time, I can't remember, it was years ago, earlier on after I started speaking, where I felt like I was in the master number for like maybe a month. And that was like the longest time ever I had experienced it. And then it went away and I kind of collapsed and crashed. And then I had to deal with all of why that happened. But that's where I really started to get, it's something that you have to activate. And when it's activated, it becomes this new thing where if you're just operating in your 1s and your 2, it's not going to happen. So you have to have confidence. You have to really step into the 1 and the 2. And any relationship challenges are 2. Like 2 is relationship. There's 2 people. 1 is individual. So you got to like master being an individual, master being in relationship, which is like, yeah, that's not easy, right? It's just, your homework is not simple, but the reward is so huge, right? The reward is so huge. So Oprah has a master number of 11. I think she's born on the 29th, also an Aquarian. And you look at her, she's a great example, right? She's super sensitive, but she's so in her power. Like she has boundaries. No one's going to be like trying to get her to do stuff and she just does it to please people. Like that's not really her style, No, like, and if something doesn't sit right with her, I don't picture her just like pretending it doesn't bother her. Like, I just don't picture that. I picture her being very clear, like, this is what I want, this is what I need, Yeah, so that, like, see if you can find 11s as examples and inspiration. It's a good idea for you or anyone who is watching who's got a master number to really look for examples. I know a lot of 33 examples that are real people, not like celebrities, but I'll have to take a look and see if I can think of any. But 11, there's plenty. Yeah, cool. So I just want to take a quick look back again before we wrap here. Yeah, so this like wide variety of gifts that you have. So the 2 is sort of that sensitive one-on-one kind of energy, but the higher expression is 11, right? So your highest expression doesn't have as much one-on-one in it. You can do it, but that's the fact that right now your work is one-on-one. It's just showing that there's so much more in you that could be packaged. Like the 4 is like, hey, you could package this and deliver it in a way that many people can get without you having to say it to each person. Your 5 as well, it's like being fueled by aliveness and inspiration and being creative. 9, so it's like, if I look at the 4, the 5 and the 2 9s together just for a moment, just look at those. It's like if you can package transformation, if you could package some type of way to transform, like that's a match to that. Do you see what I mean? You have, like, 4 can be consistency as well, and Taurus likes consistency. Taurus really serves in the business world, for sure. It's easy. Business is easier, I would say, in general, if you have a Taurus. I have a midheaven Taurus. Doesn't quite feel the same as having a sun sign Taurus, because, yeah, the consistency is not my biggest strength. Unless it's with clients, then yes, but many things I cannot be consistent at. So that consistency, and the 4 consistency, so consistently inspiring, consistently sharing a message that's inspiring. So 3 is communication, inspiration, sharing a message of empowerment. So if you're sharing a message of empowerment that transforms, that's awesome. Like, that's a really cool essence. And again, not again. I said it, you guys weren't there. So it's not again. With what we're doing with natural design is we're taking a look at these, at who you are through a lens that can help us see more clearly. And it's still not like, oh, you're going to have a business where you help X person with X thing. It's not going to ever give you the exact thing, because that's your job, like your role, like your purpose comes from inside of you. This is helping to describe some of the subtle aspects of it and the big picture of it and the gifts that you have to give while you're doing it. Yet, for example, an empowering message that transforms, like that captures a lot of who you are. Well, that can come in so many forms. Like, you can even start tapping into that to, like, in your job. Like, how can I, like, what's the inspiring message that transforms this person in front of me today? You know, you might say one word that is that essence expressed into one sentence, right? That helps them feel like, I can do this. I'm not going to be here forever. I'm going to get out of this. You know, like, that's a really cool, like, medicine that you have. And I would really love doing this. Maybe we'll do like a little workshop on this in the future. I love doing those little Zoom workshops. So I've got a couple more in mind. So what I love doing is kind of breaking it down into like a few sentences, like, say all the gifts, and then, oh, okay, cool. Because then how can I embrace that today? Or in my marketing, how can I embrace that? And same could go for sure with the brand essence as well. Although that'll take more reflection. Because, yeah, the one thing I didn't talk about is the Libra. Libra is relationship. So you've got Libra relationship, you've got social energy. Yeah. And Libra is very, very, like, you have a lot of energy that lends itself well to connecting and networking type of thing. Like, really, networking doesn't have to mean you meet at a networking meeting. Okay. Like, I'm a natural networker, and I haven't been in a standard networking meeting since, I don't know, 2004 or something. You know, not to say that I shouldn't. I probably could benefit from that. But still, it's like that connecting energy. Like, because I go to events and then I'll meet people. And, you know, you happen to bump into the right person. Like, you're really good in that connection energy for sure. And also because you have so much air, communication, sharing a message. Yeah, we don't talk about the specifics of how it can all look in Own It. That's more scale naturally. But when you start to think about that brand essence of really communicate, like you're communicating and you're helping people break out of the box and see different ways and see new possibilities. Well, you can, because you have so much Gemini, you can easily do that through conversation or through a podcast, like through interviews, through like, Oprah's an Aquarian, and she's interviewed, I don't know, so many, like, you can't even count how many people she's interviewed. Right? Because she can talk. She can just talk. I don't have that same capacity to talk. I love talking in bursts, you know, and then, okay, now, all right, bye, guys. But the air has so much more capacity to do that. So really starting to think, okay, I would start to explore, what is my message? like, what is the message that I represent? And and because you're talking about think outside the blender, so obviously you help people with food, right?
Yep.
Which also makes sense with the four. Four can be like steps and systems and stuff like that, but it can also be like things you do in your environment or with your body or your eating is all four. So I love that. So even just thinking in the land of food and everything you've done so far, look at your gifts through that lens. Okay, how does that apply? Well, 5 is aliveness. 4 is your body. 9 is like really like, so if you were to help transform through changing the way people are eating or cooking or something, then you're likely going to attract people who are doing things in a way that's just really not helpful. And your role is not just to be like, hey, you could do this. It's like, hey guys, this is what we've been doing. We got to get out of that. So you're making a bridge to help them get to a new world. And the steps to get there. Here's your ABCD is the 4. And the 11 is like shining a light on the whole thing. It's like, hey, look where you are. And guess what? You can be over here. There's aliveness over here. There's happiness. There's joy. There's energy. 3 and 5 need energy. They love energy. So, yeah, coming back to all of this coming together and being empowered with it. So, yeah, there's one specific person I worked with around food who totally empowered me. Like, I'm good now at like, what does this need? And not needing, before I had to follow a recipe to a T because I had no idea what I was doing. And then she basically empowered me through what she taught me. And now I'm like, oh, it needs a little bit of this. Oh, now it's awesome. You know, like I didn't have that before. And I needed a recipe for everything. And so I was not empowered. So having this empowerment piece here is super cool. And so and can you give a 1 or 2 lines about how you help people around food?
Yeah, because I work with people who have difficulty swallowing, and they often need pureed food in order to eat safely, and it's just awful. You know, you look at it on a plate and you don't know what it is. And one day I was at work and I finally just got so frustrated. I thought there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
I went home and I started creating my own recipes that were healthy, appetizing, easy to do, and I started a blog posting these recipes. And when I had enough recipes, that's when I put them together in the book.
Awesome. That's so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's, so then for the 9 there, it's more humanitarian. It's like, look, if you got to eat this way, you know.
It's about dignity and quality of life. And
yeah, it's like having compassion and look, this is the reality. So therefore it doesn't have to be so bad. And oh my God, Taurus loves good food. Like, this is not okay. This pureed thing that you can't recognize is not okay. Like, I love it. Like, the Taurus gets in there and like up levels this horrible experience, which is so cool. So that's like not just the 9 of like, here's the old way. It's like, you don't have to suffer like this.
Right.
It can feel better. It can be better. So cool. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yay. Awesome. So yeah, I'd love to hear, do you have any questions? Like questions that are standing out?
Well, I get so many ideas in my head of what I could do.
Yes.
So I'm thinking when I get an idea, I should just really kind of put it up, look at the brand essence and see, oh, would this be a good match?
Yeah.
These qualities and gifts. And
for sure. And like, would it allow me to express all of these gifts? Like, is it a match to everything or just some of it? Because yeah, if things we do are only a match to some of it, we feel that squished in. Like, I was missing my 5 in my business before. I wasn't missing it. It just wasn't there as fully as I had it inside. And it felt like, oh, I can't do this. So we want to, as much as possible, take off those limits by matching as much as possible to who we are. So yeah, you're going to have tons of ideas. And here's probably some good advice because you have 5 and you have ideas, because you have so much Gemini, so much air. And 5 is super creative. So 5 is this sort of like, it's in harmony with nature. So my experience of 5 is that it's a part of life. It's a part of nature, meaning you can't force it when it's not there. But then, and also at the same time, there's lots of ideas. But if you look in nature, there's like every single tree out in my yard has like freaking thousands of these pine cones on it, which could become trees, right? But they don't, like a lot of them don't. So a lot of them don't take root. So it's the same with ideas. There's going to be lots of ideas. So the ones you want to watch for is over time you have this idea and then time goes on, what stays with you over time? Because some are going to fall away. And the ones that stay with you, because you're using this 5 energy, the ones that stay with you are the ones that very likely are wanted by humanity. Like they fit in with what is needed in the world. And the timing is good. So have an idea journal, stick all your ideas somewhere, see what has life, because 5 is what has life. So in the beginning of any idea, it's like, yes, they all have life and they're all the most exciting and brilliant things ever. I know. Yep. I've got this. I've got 3 5s. So there's that. And then the next day you might wake up and be like, no, like not at all, not that one, not that one. And there's no judgment. Like really allow the creative process and see what stays over time. See what keeps your passion, a week, a month later. So that, because the 5 can get bored, and your Geminis can get bored, and your Aquarius can get bored. So let's see if we can avoid the boredom and really come to something that has a lot of life and has a lot of longevity. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Great question. So yeah, I'd love to hear what your maybe a couple takeaways from today that you want to really kind of hold on to and not lose track of as you walk away.
I think just looking at the whole picture, I mean, each individual part, and what maybe I have been neglecting or not using so much, and then how that plays into the big picture. Because I definitely feel at my job I'm limited.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's so much more that I can do.
Yeah.
So it's exciting and scary at the same time.
Totally. Yeah, I love it. Cool. And I love that you have a blog, because that's a form of communication with the world. Like that's a form of Gemini 11 and pretty much everything. And 4, it's a thing. It's not just words coming out of your mouth. There's a structure for it. There's an actual place where they go, where the words go. Cool. I love it. Thank you. And I'd love, Robin, do you have anything pop into your mind after listening? We had some master talk.
Well, I like what you said is you look at each opportunity or situation through the lens of your gift. Mm-hmm. And, how is it fitting in or how it can be manifest. And myself, I found that after, working, you're getting your information, working it, I found that I discovered ways in my day job where I could bring gifts to the table that I hadn't been, and that's why I was kind of frustrated or feeling kind of lethargic about it.
Yeah.
And so that might be something that you, Maria, might find that where you think you might be limited, but yet there might be new ways in which you could bring your gifts to your day job.
Yeah.
And make it even richer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this. Thank you, Robin. This is one of my, I really suffered when I was in a job. I was watching the clock every friggin' minute, and I felt so stifled, and there was so much suffering that wasn't necessary. We're not just, if you're in a job for some kind of reason, at the moment, and yeah, you want to get out. I wanted to get out. And at the same time, you're there, there's some type of purpose here. So I love giving this message, and that Robin, that you've got that and you're starting to have a different experience. That to me is awesome, because most jobs are 40 hours a week, 40 hours of suffering in a week. And then you go home and you feel like crap. That's not okay. That's your life passing you by. So I just love that, a tiny little thing. So for you, Maria, I would look at, so let's just do a quick scan. Let's, from the perspective of needs instead of gifts. Mm-hmm. Of these, if they were each of these were a tank, which one would be the emptiest at your job at the moment?
Probably the lightness and the play, and then reaching out to a broader audience.
Right.
More global.
Right. And so that in the numbers, which if the numbers, or is that your Gemini? Let's pick one specific one that you can focus on.
Oh, from the brand essence?
Or from your gifts. It could be your 11. It kind of sounded like your 11.
Yeah, I would do the 11.
Yeah, so the 11. So then as a need, so as a gift, it's like this contribution it's this message going out. As a need, it's like you're filling it. That might be the need for inspiration, the need for, the need for, it's still a need. It's like a need to share a message. So then that's a great example.
For some reason, the audio's cutting out a little bit.
Oh, weird. Is it cutting out for you, Robin?
I know.
Robin, can you hear okay?
Yeah, I can hear both of you just fine.
Okay, maybe it's on my end. Sorry.
Weird. Yeah. So the 11, it could be the need. Yeah, the need to share a message. That could be. Can you hear me? Is the audio okay?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Oh no. Okay. Shoot.
Can you hear me? Maria, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, she can't.
No, she can't hear anybody.
It must be on my end.
Yeah. For us. Yeah, let's see. It's hard to wrap up when she can't hear me. Can you see the? Oh wait, I don't know if she can see the chat. Here, I'll message her. Oops. Can you see the chat?
Maybe write it on a piece of paper and hold it up to the camera.
Good.
Say, see chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So. Oh, she can see it. I can type it there.
Oh, good. Okay. So just log out and come back on.
Yeah. Cool. Creative solutions.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because since she has an 11, that's double creativity. Is that right?
Yep.
Then I have my little sheet right here.
Yay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, what were you saying, Robin?
Yeah, then maybe a need to be creative, like these ideas that she has, share them at work.
Totally.
Or, that sort of thing. The need for creativity.
Yeah.
So that's really great what she's doing.
Yeah, totally. So need for creativity, need for inspiration, like whatever, and it doesn't have to be the full blown, what is it going to be in your business? Like, for example, you're 5, maybe you have this really structured job and you don't have a lot of freedom. Well, then what's another aspect of 5 you can bring in? Like aliveness, like go for a walk outside on your lunch break kind of thing. Or with the 11, read an inspiring book so that you're filled with inspiration, at least in the day. When I was an engineer and I would wake up at 5:30 instead of 6, just so I could meditate and start my day in the spiritual energy that I wanted to, rather than the power plant energy that I was just going to drive into, So it's like bringing these aspects of yourself, and they don't have to be earth-shattering, but like in small ways, simple, small ways, it opens up a whole new world for sure.
All
Cool.
right.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. Well, thank you so much for being here, Maria.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And next time we'll have more advanced notice because, yeah. Yeah, Karen's away and we had to delay it. And anyway, here we are. Here we are, and it's recorded. And next time we'll do more notifications and planning and all that so that everyone knows. Okay, awesome. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Take care.
Okay,
All
bye-bye.
right.
Nice to meet you, Maria. Keep up the good
Bye.
work.
You too.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye, guys. If I can find it. There we are.